Alrighty, what is up, guys? Evanaldo here. Wanted to give you an update on the markets. The first thing I wanted to show you, wanted to do it a little bit differently. I've did this once before. I wanted to show you kind of a realistic P&L on ByBit, my P&L on ByBit. On my ByBit account for the last month, I put $10,000, started with $10,000 in this account, and you could see the month there. Total P&L, we are up to a bit over $8,000 in P&L, and we could look here. We're actually almost doubled. It's like there's some unrealized profit as well, right there, letting those trades kind of ride. And just wanted to show you kind of, I would say this is pretty realistic because I used probably for a $10,000 account, it was kind of kamikaze. I was risking, up to $2,000, close to that on certain trades. However, I have other accounts like with other exchanges. So when it comes out to like all the money I have in derivatives accounts in total, it's not as like kamikaze as it sounds. I know there's some people that say, you should only risk 1 or 2% or, less than 5% per trade. And I totally agree with them. But if you have multiple accounts, risking 10% of one account is a little bit, it's a little bit different. It's really less. But what I can show you here is, I did 76% win rate. As a lot of you guys know, I do at least a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio, sometimes a little bit more than that. If you have a good strategy with a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio, you can do very well in this game. Keep it simple, I like to say. Obviously, because the market generally went up, 90% of longs were winners, 64% of shorts are winners. So even if you just did shorts, you still theoretically could have made a profit with this. And we could look at some of the trades here. $700. So I'm risking between, $500 to around $2,000 on these, depending on kind of the confidence level or whatever. And, pretty good, I would say. And this is all pretty much, I don't think I traded anything. Oh yeah, I did. Where is it? Oh, what is it? I thought there was hold on a second here. Might be, it might have been a little bit before. I just want to make sure we have, oh yeah, there, I was missing that. Okay. So I wanted to, OP was trying to short that. That got stopped out. That was actually a good setup. That's kind of how it is. You find, nothing's ever going to work 100% of the time. If you could get over 50%, over 60%, you can do pretty well here. A little bit of flopping and groping like on that, on certain things. I forget exactly what that was about, or maybe even flopping and groping on that $100 kind of gain there. But this is, I would say, somewhat of a realistic thing. I mean, obviously most like profitable traders, they get, I'd say on average between 10 to 30% return a month. So let's say you have, $100,000 in total in derivatives accounts, and you're making, if you could get 20 or 30 grand a month, that's really good. Even 10 grand, I would say that's really good. That's 10% a month. You can't get that anywhere. I mean, that's really damn good. I mean, obviously it's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of time, but it is, it's possible. I'm showing you right here. It is possible to do that. Obviously, even a much lower number than this off of a $10,000 account is, a pretty impressive thing here. I mean, we know the majority of people, do lose money at this. I mean, the majority of people that buy individual stocks do lose as well. I mean, there's a lot of ways that retail, tends to kind of lose money here. So if you guys are interested, I posted like, I'd say at least 90%, 95 of these in the Discord when I took these trades. If you guys are interested, check out the link below. And also I wanted to show you guys, this was on the ByBit account. They are doing an ETH Euphoria with the ETF thing. You can win a full Ethereum and a Tesla Cybertruck. So check it out if you guys are interested in trading on ByBit. The link is down below. And what I give for everybody who watches my channel, if you sign up to any of the links down below for ByBit, any exchanges down below, ByBit, FAIRDESK, MEXC are down there right now. If you deposit at least $100 and then open a support ticket in the Discord, in my Discord, that's the first link down below. With your UID, I'll give you 1 free month in the Discord. We've had a lot of really good success in there, really great community, and you could do some. I do chats with you guys too as well, and answer most, most if not all the questions you guys kind of ask me in there. So I think it's a really good value. Check it out if you guys are interested. I think you guys will learn a lot there. So that's what I wanted to start off this video with. Now, if we move into analysis, I mean, I did my live stream, before. And we were talking about in the live stream, or at least, the thing that I think is obvious here is that we're at a major place. I think everybody can agree we're at a major place, right here. And if we could break upward to the next big area, that's going to be around, 82K, which is pretty crazy. That would be like the first time making a new all-time high before the halving. And I know people are going to say, no, this was a new all-time high. Okay, technically on the USD evaluation it was, but when you factor in inflation, I think one of the easy ways to do is do Bitcoin versus the DXY. That line that I drew out is the all-time high. Now, can we make it up there and continue forward? It looks like most likely we will. When you look at, kind of some of these charts here, especially like the 5-day, the weekly money flow looks good. Continuation, green dot there. If we're going to reject here, it's probably going to, probably be based off of that 3-day, get the trigger wave to the downside. That would be concerning. We don't know what that's going to turn out as. It could easily do something like that and bring us up to that 80K, 70-something K area, which would be pretty crazy. And I mean, into the election, we got about 5 months. Yeah, 5 months until the election. Can everything sustainably or keep going up, keep following this general trend until the election? It can. It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. It would be different in the 4-year cycle to make a true all-time high, factoring inflation getting here. But it definitely can. Now, the other possibility, and I think this is, as of right now, less likely, would be rejecting from, this area and maybe coming back down. I could potentially see, this is where you get all Evan the Bear and all that. Let's say ETH, ETF is sell the news, everything kind of comes down until July. Let's say you finally get down to your 45 to 50K area, something like that. And then you recover much slower than that. I would probably something, you recover into the election, let's say, into the end of the year. You recover into election, and end of the year, you probably potentially finally make your new all-time high, and that follows the 4-year cycle more. We'll see what happens. The charts are not always right. I think that ultimately when we look at, I'll talk about ETH versus Bitcoin in just a second, but that looks pretty good. I think ultimately we're really getting into that, maybe that last chance, in my opinion, which I think is June, is going to signify, I think, the last chance to really be buying, altcoins and getting that, at least 3 or 4x for a lot of them over the next year to year and a half. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking here. And I started DCAing. I give the weekly DCAs. I took a break from DCAing right after the halving, and I'm starting to DCA in right now. And it's still not the exact bottom I'm DCAing at, but for a lot of these, there's still a decent discount. H-bar is a bad example, but if we look at, something like Avalanche, this is just textbook, like bear div, you had your drop down. What was this drop down in your bear div? 40%. You're still down about 30%, from that high. You get in on this trigger wave, still a better price than DCAing in at like 45 or 50. You know what I mean? It's kind of an insurance area. Stop DCAing for a little bit, wait for that drop down a little bit that we got, and then probably continue hold for another year and a half. Now, if we look at some of these lower time frames, just to kind of wrap up Bitcoin, potentially what it'll do in the short term, I was talking about earlier, potentially a jump off of this line right here, 69K, which is funny number, but it is, I would argue, a pretty important point with these wicks as well. Money flow, generally curving downward. And let's see. Some trade back up to the VWAP I think would make sense, especially on that. How's that hourly looking? Maybe that hourly trigger wave will give you a jump up back up to that VWAP. It would be very anticlimactic if we just keep kind of dropping down back down. If you go back down to 65, that's where things get a little bit more hairy. And then you look at more of these trigger waves, like 2-day, 3-day forming. So we got to definitely keep an eye on that. Moving on to Ethereum right now. So Ethereum, obviously with the ETF hype, it seems like most likely it will be approved relatively soon. That's what it seems. Seems like relatively soon that it will be. It probably will be approved. And you have that bull div on your 2-week that looks really good for your ETH Bitcoin evaluation. This is not financial advice, but if you are going to convert Bitcoin to Ethereum, it would probably make sense to do so. When this gets very close to confirming, or wait till it confirms. That would be a high likelihood that ETH has bottomed out against Bitcoin. And then if we just look at Bitcoin dominance, I think you're getting there. I think you're kind of really getting towards kind of your top area, especially if we confirm in 5 days this bear div on, the gapped, these kind of bear div there, monthly. Yeah, like that, it's starting to look more bearish. Definitely starting to look more bearish on Bitcoin dominance. 10 days to confirm that. I would argue it seems like from June onward, it's probably going to be altcoins will probably, most of them, the good ones will probably have bottomed against Bitcoin. They will probably continue to outperform Bitcoin for a year to a year and a half, I would argue. So yeah. And then if we just look at ETH a little bit, trigger wave on the 5-day, your technical target is going to be nuts if we can break above this. Like that would be a crazy high technical target. Like 5,500. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's absolutely from where we are right now. Probably we're at 37 right now. 50% upward with the ETF. I mean, it's a smaller market cap. It's a $400 billion market cap. Maybe it could go to 800. I mean, maybe it goes 600. That would be 600 based on that, I believe. So that would be wild. And then we're looking at, you know, everything looks pretty good in terms of money flow here. So if you can break above 4,000, you're probably going up to 5,000, which is pretty wild. Pretty wild, guys. So yeah. And then if we look at, just trying to think here a little bit, I mean, yeah, I mean, trigger wave right there. Yeah, it still looks pretty good. I mean, I think just like Bitcoin, the main thing is money flow coming down here that we have to kind of worry about. But I would argue ETH looks a bit better than Bitcoin right now. I think ETH and some altcoins are the big buy right now. If we look at, I mean, a few altcoins that I kind of liked how we're looking. I mean, Chainlink is one that definitely looks like it, you know, it looks like it probably has bottomed out against Bitcoin. Trigger wave on the weekly, you're already getting that. I bought some Chainlink on spot yesterday along with some other altcoins. Like I mentioned, going to be DCAing and probably until the end of June. This looks like it could be bottoming out against Bitcoin here. That's a big place right there. Another one I've been keeping my eye on. The Bitcoin evaluation is abysmal, but ApeCoin, just that higher low, I think it's a good gamble right here. Risky, not financial advice, but I think it's a good gamble. You know, potentially jumping up 100%. You know, it's a volatile one. But in terms of more, you know, coins with less risk, AVAX, a great coin that I really like, has some amazing fundamentals, trigger wave on the 5-day. So, you know, it really looks like we're dodging the bullet of breaking down to $21 so far. Yeah, that's what it really looks like. I think in the trigger wave here, this makes a lot of sense for continuation in a lot of these. And that could be, you know, following Bitcoin back up to its high. So you still have, you know, 63% to go there. So there's a lot of possibility there. AVAX does also look pretty well on its Bitcoin evaluation, which is an important thing to note as well. Looks like that was most likely the bottom. The things that look bad on their kind of Bitcoin evaluation, like, I mean, I do like Atom still, but I mean, just the Bitcoin evaluation, you know what I mean? Like some of these are just scary, but yeah, it's part of the game. It's hard to know exactly which alts are going to survive and which alts won't. I still think Atom has got a good shot of potentially coming back, showing some strength, you know, especially since it's forming that trigger wave on the weekly. Your 5-day looks decent with the money flow as well, breaking up higher. So, I mean, yeah, there's definitely, I mean, the trigger wave on the 2-week too, there's definitely a lot of possibility of continuation here on a lot of these. VeChain, like the shirt I'm wearing, they don't pay me to say this, you know, I just got the shirt, but, you know, trigger wave forming, a lot of stuff is looking good. Now, should you wait until the trigger wave finally prints? I mean, it depends. You know, I think the most logical thing here would be a DCA. You're starting now into the end of June, or starting in June to the end of, you know, just the month of June, and then waiting. That's what it kind of makes sense. Like I mentioned, in all likelihood, if you look at history, an incumbent running for re-election, most likely the stock market will do well from this in the second half of this year. From July until election, most likely it will do well. Most likely things will be higher than they are now in November. That's what I will say. So yeah, that's pretty much all the main points I wanted to make, you know, right now, guys. I mean, Cardano is another one that's kind of lagged behind a bit. It's probably the last one I'll talk about right now. I mean, weekly trigger wave forming. I like how that looks. You know, I think you easily could break up to like 58 cents. Cardano versus Bitcoin as well. You know, hitting a major point, it could be starting to bottom out against Bitcoin. That's that possibility. And then the last one, this will actually be the last one I'll look at. Solana, you know, if you can break above that previous high 204, like Bitcoin going to 80K, I'm looking at 266 here. Looking good in the 2-week, you know, weekly, a lot of stuff is looking decent for continuation here. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the links down below if you want to make some of these trades. ByBit, FAIRDESK, MEXC, all excellent exchanges. And subscribe to the channel if you want that free month in Discord. Deposit $100 in any exchanges that you signed up with my link for. We'll give you that free month. Just open a support ticket with your UID and the exchange you signed up for in the Discord. Link is down below. All right, guys, have a good one.